breakfast is the thing I've been stuck on the past several days. Homemade sourdough toast with 2 scrambled eggs, a wedge of Laughing Cow cheese, 3 slices of Canadian bacon, and 1 boiled egg with everything bagel seasoning, sriracha, and crushed red pepper. Then I have my coffee with collagen peptides, creatine, and I put a scoop of the Rise mushroom coffee in there. So it's extra coffee-y. And a sprinkle of salt. I'm having a savory coffee this morning. That's breakfast. When I came back from my walk earlier, I had another peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable, the grape kind, because, like I keep saying, I am 5. No. I just really like those. But lunch is going to be, this is a sweet potato mixed with some roasted butternut squash, just to kind of make it a little more calorie dilute. And I threw some sweet peas in there that were left over from dinner the other day. And then I have my favorite real good clean chicken chunks, and then I drizzled my not so clean buldak hot, like spicy chicken hot sauce. And this weekend I get to go buy some honey and make my own hot honey again, so I won't keep using this crap. But I'm totally out of honey. I have no honey in my house, so I have to use this delicious but super dirty hot sauce because I love it. So yeah, that's lunch. I made a snack. This looks like a huge plate of pancakes, but it's not. I measured everything out. It's literally 1 serving of protein pancakes. It's supposed to make 4 small pancakes, but mine turned out to be 5. Probably because I threw some blueberries in there. And I also put a little stevia in it because the pancake mix is not sweet at all. And I wanted it to be sweet. So there's blueberries, stevia, and a pinch of cinnamon. Well, not a pinch, probably more like half a teaspoon or something. But I topped it with some Chobani Zero vanilla Greek yogurt. And that's going to be my snack. I'll probably just have a light supper later, but I needed something because I'm stressing right now. And I'm stress eating, yes, but at least I'm eating something that's relatively good for me, question mark. Could be worse.
Hey y'all. Yeah, it's been quite a day today. This morning was great. I had a wonderful workout. My lovely weights that I talked about yesterday made it like so much easier. Wow, did you see that fly go by? And of course the cat's chasing it. It's summertime, it's hot. Um, if a fly can seek reprieve from the outdoors in my house, it will. And my cats will try to kill it, which is great. But anyways, I digress. But today is a special day for me. Today, this is June the 10th. This marks 3 years sober for me. I'm going to get deep, kind of personal, but I have struggled with alcoholism off and on for most of my life. I think I had my first drink when I was like 13. It was a wine cooler, and I started going to parties at 14 and getting smashed, and then I was like, I rededicated my life to Christ when I was 18 or so, and then had a crisis of faith later on in my early 20s. Wasn't sure what I believed anymore. I went through a divorce. It was kind of my later 20s when I had my crisis of faith. Between those years, I, struggled with drinking. I would drink socially, but then it got where I was drinking out of loneliness and boredom, and I was drinking by myself. And then, eventually I got sober, and I met my husband, and I had my son, and then the alcohol started to creep back in, where I would drink like maybe once every 6 months, and then it was like once every couple months, then once a month, then once every couple of weeks, and then it started to get to where I was wanting to drink every day. It just got progressively worse. And this happened for quite a handful of years, at least 5 or 6 years, if not. I mean, it was a progression. It took some time. But I was deep in the throes of alcoholism, fighting to stay sober for a handful of years. And and then I had my young son with me, of course. He's witnessing all this and watching me bend to my vices and whatnot. I was never abusive. I was always like loud and funny. I was a laughing, funny drunk. I used to say I was a fun drunk, and my son thought so, but it was bad. It was awful. I was, abusing my body, and I was not being a very good role model for him at all. And I was kind of beginning to come back into my faith because I had this most recent crisis of faith. I've really had two big ones. The most recent one was like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, it was 4 or 5, I guess. 4 or 5 years ago, I entered a crisis of faith and wasn't sure what I believed. And just the world has a tendency to do that sometimes and, make you question things. But I was beginning to come back to God and search for Him and seek Him out. And on the morning of June the 10th, 3 years ago, I was in my bed nursing a mild hangover. A mild one. I just had a headache, and just kind of felt blah and run down. And I was just laying in bed, and I was not going to get up and face the world. But I prayed. I was praying to God. I said, Lord, I've done it again. I slipped up. I keep slipping up. My own efforts are getting me nothing. Please help me do better. Have you ever prayed anything like that? Please help me do better. Please help me fill in the blank. That was always my prayer. And I heard God in my spirit, not an audible voice, but I heard in my spirit, and just almost like when it was my own thought. Have you ever asked me to take it from you? You have not because you ask not. And I was like, I think God just spoke to me. That's the word. That is a scripture. You have not because you ask not. And then that's followed by, and when you do ask, you ask with wrong motives to spend it on your lusts and, yourselves, basically, selfishly. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be there for my son. I wanted to be a better mom. I wanted to, here I was being vegan at the time, and I wanted to, protect my health and longevity, but I knew I was damaging my heart because I was born with a mitral valve prolapse, apparently. And that's where you have a valve that hiccups. It kind of allows a bit of blood flow to go backwards. Just a little bit. Mine's not severe. It's not enough to, cause me to be medicated or anything like that. And honestly, I discovered that taking magnesium actually greatly reduces and almost eliminates it. But at the time, drinking, any substance that I take that I'm not supposed to, doesn't belong in my body, messes with my heart rhythm and messes with that mitral valve prolapse. And it was scary. My heart would pound like it was going to beat out of my chest. My heartbeat would be irregular. I would think that, I might have a heart attack, and it was always the next day, sometimes the next 2 days. When I was sober, it would be like, am I going to survive this? Am I going to have a heart attack? But back to the miracle at hand, I heard God telling me, you have not because you ask not. And so I asked Him, I said, Lord, I know that you can do this, and please take this from me. My own efforts are getting me nowhere, and I can't do it. If I'm ever going to recover from this, you're going to have to take it from me. In Jesus' name, please take this from me. And in that moment, instantly, I felt different. I felt a change, and I thought, I think I just got delivered. I think I've been healed. And I was, because ever since then, now I was drinking almost daily, every other day at least. And I wasn't drinking just to get tipsy. I would start out with 1 or 2 beers, and then next thing I know, I'm running up to the store and buying a bottle of vodka or whatever, or a bunch more beers, and getting smashed. And this was happening every other day, 3, 4 times a week. And it was getting to where I wanted to do it daily, But ever since that moment, the desire, the craving has left me. I can be around other people who are drinking, and I'm not bothered by it. I'm not even tempted, because praise His name, He took it from me. He literally delivered me and took it from me. And so I will always declare His goodness. And I know that He does not deliver everybody like that from alcoholism instantly, because we're all meant to walk our lives differently. Some of us are meant to be sanctified in other ways, Like, it's something that we just need to battle, and I don't understand it, and none of us really can. The only one who knows is God our Father. But when you yield your desires and your will to Him, He makes it exponentially easier, I'll tell you that. Um, my personal battle, of course, He took it from me, so I have other battles in my life, but that one, He miraculously took it, and I will always, especially on today, June the 10th, I will proclaim from the rooftops my Soberversary. And so it's 3 years today, and I am super grateful, and I'm just going to tell everybody how good He is. Life is so much easier with Jesus. Um, it's just amazing, and I have heard some incredible testimonies, people being healed from some crazy, gnarly things, like disfiguring, debilitating illnesses that are healed in an instant through Jesus Christ. And so, I mean, I would ask that you seek Him today. If you don't know Him, you know, ask God to reveal Himself to you. Ask God, if you're real, show me. I need to know. And have faith that if He is real, of course He can. I mean, if God is real, He made everything that we see. All the intricacies of nature, this world, your body, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. They can't even rightly explain the eyeball. So, I mean, they know the parts of it, but they don't know how it truly works, where it came from. See, the theory of evolution does not explain everything. And there's irreducible complexity. There's things that cannot have just arisen as they are. According to evolution, they had to evolve one piece at a time. But in reality, they cannot be. Like, the eyeball cannot exist or function without being in its current state, its entire form. And so that disproves it, you know. And also, did you know that a lot of evolution has been found to be fraudulent? They won't tell you this, and they don't go announcing it. They don't talk about it in textbooks. But there was literally discoveries of evolution published in textbooks that were later found to be hoaxes, complete hoaxes. And some of them aren't even removed from the textbooks. It's still there. And so, and then people think that the earth is billions of years old or whatever. I don't. Personally, I believe in a young earth creation, because even Adam and Eve were created in a day. But Adam was not created as an infant. He wasn't created as an embryo. He was created as a grown man with age. And so why cannot the earth be created as a complete, fully formed planet with age? God can do it however He wants. But that's just my 2 cents on those. And I've learned a lot about apologetics. It's one of the things that helped bring me back to the faith. And, of course, God, in His divine wisdom and kindness, brought me back as well. So, I mean, it's just a miracle. And I'm living, walking proof. My sobriety that I'm celebrating 3 years today is living proof. So, thank you for listening to this testimony. That's all I'm going to talk about today, because I've been having kind of a stressful day, completely unrelated, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll be okay. I even stress ate. Doggone it. I'm not quite over that, a lot. That's a lifetime of battle right there, comfort, using food for comfort. But I am, thanks to the carnivore diet, when I went on that, however few years ago, it did help me get more in touch with my hunger cues and the satiety signals. So I'll make up for it at supper time, and I'll just have a smaller supper if I eat at all. But it's like, little after 3 right now when I'm talking about this. But if I eat, it will be next. And I will end the day with my macros, of course, as always. But I appreciate you watching. And thank you for celebrating my sobriety with me. And I just pray that you have a wonderful, blessed day. And that if you don't know the Lord, you'll seek Him. Because He is the meaning of life. He is the ultimate source of joy and peace. Peace that you just can't describe. He is the ultimate trustworthy Father. And I'm just ever in awe of Him. Thanks again for watching. Hit the bell, like, subscribe, all the things. Be positive, be grateful, be blessed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I knew I wasn't going to want very much of a supper after having those pancakes. They were pretty filling. They were protein pancakes, so they did have some protein in them. And now I'm just going to have another one of these stupid things because they're honestly one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And this is what I want for supper. And so I'm going to have it. And then I'm just going to have this to make sure I get my protein for the day. And watch, tomorrow I'm going to be starving. And I will want all of the meat. For now, though, this is dinner.